Okay, in this second circulatory system activity, we just drew four more cards. And you see in my simple little diagram here, I'm just trying to draw four little circles inside of this terrible picture of a heart to show that there's four chambers inside the heart. I drew the right atrium, which is an upper chamber. And when you look on a piece of paper, it's actually on the left side because this is a mirror image of when it's in your body. So this would be on the left side of the piece of paper, but it is on the right side of your body. I drew the left atrium, that's the upper chamber on the right side of the piece of paper, the left side of the heart. The right ventricle is the larger, lower chamber on the left side of the paper or the right side of your body. And then the biggest chamber of the heart, the left ventricle, is on the lower left side of your body, but on the piece of paper on the lower right side. Okay, now that I've drawn these four pictures, I want us to get out some blue and red and kind of color these in to indicate where there is oxygenated and deoxygenated blood in the body. So the word oxygenated just means there's a lot of oxygen in this blood. The body is yet to deliver it to the body cells. And the word deoxygenated just means there's not a lot of oxygen. There still is some, just not as much. And the reason why people draw these as red and blue usually is if you were to look at it, oxygenated blood usually has a bright red color, so it looks red. Deoxygenated blood actually looks dark red, so dark that it's almost blue. So let's look at the four cards: the aorta, the arteries, the left atrium and the left ventricle, and the pulmonary vein. And I'm just going to color these. I'm going to circle these with my little red crayon here, just to show that these places in the body would have oxygenated blood. Okay, I'll set those aside. Now the pulmonary artery, the right atrium, the right ventricle, the veins, and the vena cava would all have deoxygenated blood. So I'm going to circle these with my bluish crayon to show that this blood is deoxygenated, does not have a lot of oxygen in it. Okay, and then finally, in the lungs, blood starts out as deoxygenated and then becomes oxygenated. So I'm going to circle this with kind of a blue and a red to show that the body is picking up oxygen. And then in the body, what happens is the blood has a lot of oxygen and it gives it to all those cells that need it. And after it gives the oxygen away, it becomes deoxygenated. So I'm going to circle that in red and blue. Okay, now that I have all of these cards, let's think about where blood travels in the body. Again, you can start wherever you want. I'm just going to start with the aorta. So blood goes from the aorta to arteries in the body. Blood is then dropped off in cells in the liver, in the stomach, in the kidneys, the lower body, and the upper body. Blood travels to all parts of the body and gives these cells oxygen. Okay, now blood, you notice it goes back to the heart through veins, and now the blood is deoxygenated because it's given all the oxygen away. Okay, now the largest two veins in the body, the inferior and superior vena cava, will drop blood back off to the heart. They bring blood back to the right atrium. Okay, now the right atrium is going to pump blood down into the right ventricle. The right ventricle is going to pump blood away from the heart and through the pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery is going to send blood to the lungs, which has pulmonary capillaries. In the lungs, the blood will now pick up oxygen. The blood will go back through pulmonary veins to the left atrium. Blood is then pumped down to the left ventricle. And then finally, blood travels out of the heart through the largest artery in the body, the aorta, and the cycle continues. It continues and continues with every beat of our heart.